Sometimes you find the most incredible stories in the most unlikely places. Case in point, a full-length, honest-to-goodness action movie just sitting there on YouTube. And yeah, on the surface, it's all firefights and explosions. But if you peel back the layers just a little bit, you find this powerful, classic story structure hiding right underneath. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to deconstruct this thing and see what really makes it tick.
So, the story just bam, it throws us right into the middle of the fire. There's no intro, no slow setup, just the raw, absolute panic of a hostage situation. From the very first second, the stakes are life and death. You're immediately hooked, right? You're caught up in the chaos, wondering who's gonna make it out of this and who's really pulling the strings here.
Okay, so how on earth do you make sense of all that chaos? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. Structure. We're going to use the timeless 3-act structure, which is really just a basic blueprint for good storytelling. You've got a setup, a confrontation, and a resolution. It's the hidden framework that takes all this mayhem and organizes it into a journey that actually means something.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with a team that's completely divided, then we'll follow them on this peacekeeping mission that goes horribly wrong. We'll see how a shocking betrayal actually forges this unlikely bond between a master and an apprentice, which all leads to a final, fateful order. And it all ends with a question that kind of sticks with you. Is a world without war even possible?
All right, let's dive right in. Act 1, the setup. Now, every great story is built on conflict. But what's so cool about this movie is that the biggest conflict isn't between the good guys and the bad guys. Nope, it's the one brewing inside the team itself. A total clash of philosophies embodied by two very different men.
And this, right here, lays out the core tension perfectly. On one side, you've got Captain Gao, the disciplined, by-the-book leader who lives for the plan and his unit. And on the other side, the hotshot sniper. He's a total lone wolf who trusts his own skills and is really just in it for the paycheck. They are polar opposites, and that friction between them is basically the engine that drives this entire story forward.
Wow. I mean, Captain Gao just lays it all out with this one line, doesn't he? It's not personal, it's professional. For him, the hierarchy, the orders, the mission, that is all that matters. Out here on the battlefield, there's just no room for ego, and there's definitely no room for friendship.
And then you get this, the complete opposite. The sniper's worldview, it's pure, uncut mercenary ego. He doesn't see his incredible skill as a tool to help the team. He sees it as a product he can sell to whoever pays the most. That kind of arrogance, well, it immediately puts him on a collision course with a guy like Captain Gao. So you've got these two guys who are like oil and water. What on earth could possibly force them to work together? A mission, of course. This is the classic call to adventure, an urgent task that sets the stakes and pushes our characters down a path they absolutely cannot turn back from. And this is where things get really interesting, because the story grounds itself in a terrifying reality. By specifically mentioning Agent Orange, this whole thing stops being just another generic action plot. Suddenly, the mission has this real-world historical weight and a moral urgency that just raises the stakes for everybody, big time.
Okay, so here's the official briefing. On paper, it seems simple enough. Protect a convoy that's carrying humanitarian aid. And this isn't just any cargo. We're talking food, seeds, water purifiers. This stuff is the key to survival for an entire population. The catch? The only way to get it there is to drive it straight through hostile gangster territory. No big deal, right?
And with that, we're heading straight into Act 2, the confrontation. This is the part of the story where even the best laid plans just completely fall apart. Our heroes are about to be tested like never before, and the true nature of their enemy is going to be revealed in the most brutal way you can imagine. So they hit their first major checkpoint. This should be a moment of relief, right? Government soldiers, safety, but something just feels off. The soldiers are a little too tense, their story doesn't quite add up, and the film is basically asking us, the audience, a direct question. Can you really trust what you're seeing right now? And there it is. The reveal comes from a single, sharp observation. It's a setup, a total trap.
These aren't government soldiers at all. They're the enemy, just wearing the right clothes. That's the first domino to fall, and just like that, the entire mission is compromised.
But here's the real gut punch. This wasn't just some random ambush from the outside. No, this was an inside job. The team discovers that 2 of their own guys have sold them out. And all of a sudden, the danger isn't just in front of them anymore. It was standing right beside them the whole time.
Okay, so the mission's a disaster, trust is completely gone, so where does the story go? It goes inward. That external conflict between Captain Gao and the sniper starts to change into something else. All that friction gives way to a new dynamic, a classic one, the grizzled master and the talented but reckless apprentice.
And this quote, this is the core lesson right here. Captain Gao just systematically tears down the sniper's romantic, almost video game-like idea of what combat is. He teaches him that real war isn't about flashy kills or raw talent. It's about discipline, it's about patience, and it's about having the mental strength to endure things you can't even imagine.
Gao's training method is pretty incredible. It's almost philosophical. First, he teaches him to control his emotions, to take that impulsive fire in his heart and cool it down with the calm focus of water. Second, master your body. Achieve a physical control so absolute you could thread a needle with it. And finally, you become the environment. You become like a stone. No sound, no breathing, no trembling. This is how you go from being just a shooter to a true sniper. Okay, here we go. Act 3, the resolution. All the training, all the betrayal, all the conflict. This is where it all pays off. In this final showdown, the apprentice is about to face his ultimate test, and the master is going to be forced to face his destiny.
So, they're in the final battle. It's absolute chaos. They're pinned down, they're overwhelmed, and Captain Gao makes this cold, hard, tactical calculation. He knows that to save the mission and to save his team, a sacrifice has to be made. Someone has to hold the line.
And he accepts it. This isn't a moment of panic or fear. It's a moment of pure purpose. This is the culmination of his entire character. The leader who always sees the bigger picture and is willing to pay the ultimate price to protect it.
But then, in his final moments, he does something absolutely incredible. He passes the torch. He makes his once rebellious apprentice the new leader. And this isn't just an order, it's an acknowledgement. It's him saying the student has finally learned the lesson. This is it. The sniper's transformation is complete.
So, the battle is won. But the cost? Wow, the cost is huge. And in the quiet after the storm, the survivors, and us, the audience, we're all left to just grapple with the meaning of everything that happened. What was it all for?
And the movie just comes right out and asks it. After dragging us through all that violence, all that sacrifice, it asks us to imagine the exact opposite. It's such a simple question, but it's so profound. And it's the moment that really elevates this story from just being a cool action flick into something more, a real reflection on the human condition.
And you know what? This quote is the perfect place to end. The storyteller themselves admits that their work might not be perfect, but that the real purpose was to spread a voice, an idea. And that's the real power of a great narrative, isn't it? It doesn't matter if it's a Hollywood blockbuster or a hidden gem you find on YouTube. A well-told story can make us feel, it can make us think, and maybe, just maybe, it can make us hope for a better world.